Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm back to who are the six enemies of humans. Why did I pause there? Hindu Academy, Lakhani as well. Who are the six enemies of humans? While I was looking for the thumbnail, I end up, was it reading? Because it always goes to, to the regular search page that has, like, I guess they actually gave their actual right definition, amazingly. But anyways, it gave the definition, I guess what you would search for if you're looking for a specific definition, more specifically, I guess, a Hindu definition, as opposed to, like, six enemies of humans: animals, bad air, bad food, kind of like that. One of them was anger, so I wasn't thinking along the lines of emotions, but I guess I was thinking like people, but at the same time, well, that wouldn't really make much sense. So perhaps like greed. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, let's go ahead and see what the six enemies of humans are.
So we see there are six enemies of human beings that doesn't allow us to make spiritual progress. And these are standard stuff. I'll just touch on it. So some people who have not heard these words perhaps can understand. We say kama. Kama means desires. Isn't it one of the biggest problems we have? We have desires and they give us hell. And this is how whole of Buddhism started, just focusing the word desire, kama. Then you have krodha. Krodha means anger. Now how does anger arise? Analyze our own lives. You'll find it. It is when your desires get frustrated. You want to reach that place in this time. I want to come here to the studio on time, and there is this idiot in front of him driving so slowly. So you get krodha. Your desire is being frustrated. Lightening. Okay? So krodha appears as frustration of your desires, whether it's in personal life, in social life, whatever. So krodha. From kam, from desires, you get krodha. Then it says lobha and moha. And this gentleman is asking, what's the difference between lobha and moha? Okay. Lobha is this. You see, you become greedy. Haven't you noticed? Suppose I've got enough, but I say, if I get a little bit more money, I'm safe in my old age and I can give it to my children. So we start to gather more money. This happens with Hindus in a big time. There are so many billionaire Hindus. There are so many millionaire Hindus in UK. And if you ask them, apart from just looking after your own little family and going on cruises and all that, what else do you do for greater humanity? How do you spend your money? They say, we don't know. We just hang on to it. This is called lobha. You see, this is an important thing for us to recognize. This is our flow of the Hindus in UK as well as in India. Those who have money just keep gathering more and more. What are they going to do with it? They're going to take it with them when they die? They just hang on to it, keep gathering even more. When they're dying, on their deathbed, they want to still buy more business and do this. They can't stop it. So this is called lobha, greed. Again, a human feature. Then we have the other one, is kam, krodha, lobha, moha. Now, the difference between lobha and moha is this. Moha is delusion. We get deluded that, I think if I have money in the bank and, everything is okay, I've got this big house and everything is fine for me. This is called delusion. That again is something that obscures our view regarding spirituality, gets in our way. So kama, krodha, lobha, moha, then it's a mother. Once you gain all this, then trouble. I've seen it in my own, group of people. Once they collect some amount of money, they're called nuo rich, newly rich. It goes to the head straight away. I've seen it, it's frightening. People used to call me, I'm just talking lightly in Gujarati, when they were kind of at the same level as me, financially, they were calling me Bapu. Oh, you are like father. I said, good, okay, call me Bapu. Then when they started getting more money than me, they started calling me Dilip Bhai. I said, no problem, Dilip Bhai is equally good. Do you think it stops there? No, they got so much money now, they don't want to call me Dilip Bhai anymore, they call me Dilip. Or Dilpa. I said, okay, this is called pride. Mother. And again, this is a feature of human beings. Once we hit some target and we say, yes, we made it, it goes to your head. This is a nice thing my grandfather taught me is this. He said, when you get Lakshmi, when she comes into your life, means a lot of money, it gives you a kick on your back. So you can look up only, you can't look straight to other human beings. You are looking upward only. Have you noticed people go like this? Lakshmi gives you a kick on the back when it enters your system. But when it leaves your system, which is also very likely, it kicks you in the stomach and you go, I'm nobody, because you are focusing on money. When money goes, you bend over. So it gives you a kick in your stomach. It's a nice thing my grandfather taught me. So this is, if you like, the idea of lobha. Lobha means greed and moha means delusion. We live in, and then we come to pride. This is, if you like, mother. Then matsarya is another thing that we must recognize. Matsarya means jealousy. You see, this is human feature. I mean, I may think, oh, I'm so highly spiritual, but it's kind of, you get a sting from time to time. You get a sting. This guy doesn't deserve it. Why is he getting this so much praise? Sting, I get a sting. We all have it. It's inbuilt. Now I'll touch on the deeper vision. This is the way to analyze this Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. But what's the deeper vision? Once you recognize the deeper vision, you can rise above all these 6 enemies. The deeper vision is this, my friend. See, the thing that's within you is pure and pristine. It's the spirit, Atma, nothing less. Despite you think, no, I'm nobody, I'm a creepy crawly. It's not. Something great is about you. But as you've gone through so many lifetimes, you've picked up a lot of baggage. A lot of unnecessary things have been kind of sticking to you. Suppose you pass through a muddy pathway, the mud will stick on you. So as you've gone through so many lifetimes, as animals and then into human, a lot of these things that are kind of, in a way obscuring our spiritual worldview in this human life have been acquired in the animal kingdom. Think about it. Almost all these things I talked about, the fact that you've got desires, they have been inbuilt over many lifetimes. You enjoyed eating that, apple or whatever, so you are attracted to food. So all these things, that 6 enemies we talk about, they are kind of inherent in us. They are not our natural status. They are something that we acquired over many lifetimes. So don't blame yourself or call yourself sinful. Oh, I got greed and lust, and that means I'm sinful. No, you're not. You're pure and pristine. But the journey you've taken on has put these kind of labels on you and kind of imposed these traits on you, these qualities on you. And the important thing, once you recognize this, then you can rise above it. Suppose I'm a sinful fellow. I'm just greedy by nature. I just like to. I'm a glutton. I want to keep eating. Because in animal kingdom, food was difficult, so you are eating too much. Now you are making up for not getting food, now eating, overeating. So once you recognize the origin of these things, because enemies of our human nature, then once you recognize how, you smile and say, okay, I've gone through it. I know why I've got these traits. I can rise above it. Knowledge is the only way you can rise above these 6 enemies. They are kind of biting, like crocodiles biting at you.
Okay, so greed. Is it greed? Yeah, what's the second part of greed, though?
To recognize, on their deathbed, they want to still buy more business and do lobha, greed. Again, a human feature. Then the other one is can't go to lobha, moha. Now, that doesn't mean lobha and moha is delusion. We get deluded that, I think if I have money in the bank and, everything is okay, I've got this big house and everything is fine.
Well, I get greed, for sure, obviously. People who wants a lot of things more than, I want to say more than they deserve, more than they need. I don't believe anyone deserves anything, so I'm not going to say I'm not going to use that word, but generally speaking, greed is more than you need. But at the same time, I get it, like, for certain reasons. Like, more than you need, but you may give it to other people. And you probably include that to your needs as well. But anyways... then delusion. That's really interesting. Big house and everything's fine. If this big house and everything is fine.
For me, this is called delusion. That again is something that obscures our view regarding spirituality, gets in our way. So kama, krodha, lobha, moha, then it's a mother. Once you gain all this.
Okay, did he explain delusion? Delusion is thinking that you have enough, or maybe because you have all these things, everything's going to be okay, perhaps. Oh, yeah, desires. And then frustration. No, it's anger, he said. So yeah, desires, obviously. Desires, though, includes greed. I think desires kind of encompasses everything. Greed, anger. Well, anger is a result of greed or desires. Delusion, thinking that you believe in something that's not real, I suppose. That might be the delusion part, where you think you have enough, or this is going to make you happy. You just buy this one thing, you won't have to buy anything else. I mean, delusion puts a lot. Pride, I get that. I think it's okay to be prideful. To some degree, of course. Not the prideful where you start showing off kind of deal. Prideful in the things that you do. For like you take pride in making something. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But obviously when you go to the extremes, that's whenever it becomes a little bit too much. Especially if you let pride affect you. Lakshmi.
But when it leaves your system, which is also very likely, it kicks you in the stomach and you go, I'm nobody. Upward only. Have you noticed people go like this? Lakshmi gives you a kick on the back when it enters your system, but when it leaves you, look up only. You can't look for money. It gives you a kick on your back when she comes into your life. This is a nice thing my grandfather taught me is this. He said, when you get Lakshmi, when she comes into your life, means a lot of money, it gives you a kick on your back.
I figured that would have been in greed.
So you can look up only. You can't look straight to other human beings. You are looking upward only. Have you noticed people go like this? Lakshmi.
Oh, as in, that looks like pride as well. Like, I'm too good for you. Or arrogance, maybe.
It gives you a kick on the back when it enters your system, but when it leaves your system, which is also very likely, it kicks you in the stomach and you go, I'm nobody, because you are focusing on money. When money goes, you bend over. So it gives you a kick in your stomach. It's a nice thing my grandfather taught me. So this is, if you like, the idea of low means greed and moha means delusion. We live in, and then we come to pride. This is, if you like, mother. Then matsarya is another thing that we must recognize. Matsarya means jealousy.
Okay. Then you kind of humble yourself, I suppose. When you're so rich, you think you're above everyone. Arrogance, and all of a sudden, when you're poor, you don't have money anymore. You now all of a sudden it's like, oh, woe is me, please help me. You know, once you've kind of said everyone's below you, and now all of a sudden now you want everyone's help because you're struggling.
You see, this is human feature.
Jealousy. I mean, jealousy goes, I guess, again, a lot of things can be with greed as well, considering the fact that if you make a lot of money, like, yes, I'm rich, and all of a sudden you see someone else that makes more money, you're like, I'm jealous of that person because he makes more than me, or he has a car and I only have a bike, or something like that. You know, someone having more than you and you're being jealous because they have that. Pure pristine.
Rise about all these 6 enemies. The deeper vision is this, my friend. See, the thing that is within you is pure and pristine. It's the spirit, Atma, nothing less. Despite you think, no, I'm nobody, I'm a creepy crawly. It's not. Something great is about you. But as you've gone through so many lifetimes, you've picked up a lot of baggage. A lot of unnecessary things have been kind of sticking to you. Suppose you pass through a muddy pathway, the mud will stick on you. So as you've gone through so many lifetimes, as animals and then into human, a lot of these things that are kind of, in a way obscuring our spiritual worldview in this human life have been acquired in the animal kingdom. Think about it. Almost all these things I talked about, the fact that you've got desires, they have been inbuilt over many lifetimes. You enjoyed eating that, apple or whatever, so you are attracted to food. So all these things, that 6 enemies we talk about, they are kind of inherent in us. They are not our natural status. They are something that we acquired over many lifetimes. So don't blame yourself or call yourself sinful. Oh, I got greed and lust, and that means I'm sinful. No, you're not. You're pure and pristine.
I was going to say I was going to disagree with him here a little bit, but not quite. I mean, obviously your true self is pristine, unaffected by the world, but you have to take responsibility of your actions. It's the only way you're going to change. And going with the example with the muddy boots and stuff. So yeah, I mean, as you walk through life, some mud sticks to you, some will fall off, because it dries up, it becomes old, or you cleaned it off, you straighten yourself. But you also have to take responsibility where you walk with those boots. You can end up going into someone's house and mudding. It's like, oh, it's not my fault. I was just walking, and all of a sudden mud just came off. It's like, no. I mean, you yourself are not affected by the mud. You yourself are not the boots, but you still have to kind of take responsibility for the mud that you track. But to say that you're not to blame, yes, we understand that everyone has mud in their boots, but we still have to kind of take responsibility. And he's not saying that you yourself are. So don't blame yourself. Yeah, I don't think blaming yourself necessarily, but understand that these are the things that you have to be responsible for. So I don't think necessarily blame yourself for it, but take responsibility for whatever this is. Take responsibility for those muds. And that's where actually I kind of want to get to. The journey takes you to put this kind of level, so if you're kind of imposed. Life. Yes. So, we are animals. If you believe in reincarnation, when you go from the different lifetimes and the different reincarnations. You know, we develop what is it? As humans, when we were back in the caveman era, you know, food was pretty scarce, so we like to eat a lot of stuff because we don't know when the next meal is. And then you have like people who have issues with their weight, and it's understandable. But you know, you have to take responsibility for that. Again, if they want to, they just can't. They cannot blame. Here's one of my issues, I suppose, especially in America, I guess, is that I had this discussion with a friend, and was saying like, oh yeah, we don't have healthy foods. Healthy foods expensive. That's the reason why we have overweight people. It's like, no, not really. You know, we have to take responsibility for our actions. Like, no, I don't think it's necessarily disagreeing with me, but also disagreeing with me. And it's a sure fact. You know, fast food. I eat fast food once or twice a week, only because I go to a particular event, but I'm trying to stop that. I go maybe once a week, if that, and only one time that day too. I don't eat like all 3 meals. It's usually just grab a meal real quick, and that's usually my meal for the day for the most part. But it's actually more expensive because I can, for that meal, I can actually buy me some chicken and a few other things, and that chicken meal will last me 3 to 5 days, depending. And yeah, so and basically that one McDonald's meal, even with discounts and coupons, which I do all the time. Anytime I go out, I'm looking for the discounts and coupons. But that discounted meal from McDonald's, I can go to a grocery store or Walmart and buy a pack of chicken, which will last me multiple days and multiple eating sessions as well. And mind you, when I say multiple days, that's because maybe I'm eating 2 to 3 times a day that one pack of chicken. So it's not just like going to McDonald's one meal and that's it. So you know, there's a bit of an excuse about people who are saying like, oh, it's cheaper to buy McDonald's, or cheap food's cheaper. To some degree, in maybe grocery stores, they kind of are, but not necessarily. And I think I think what it really is that either it's laziness, because people, it's very convenient, you know, just to go out, like there's so many food options. You can easily go out and buy whatever you want. Am I going off topic? Not really. It's about taking responsibility of your actions, and he's talking about here about how we eat. Not getting food, now eating, overeating. So once you recognize the origin of these things, yes, it's so convenient just to go buy food from a fast food joint and and just eat it. You know, you don't have to cook. You don't need pots and pans. You don't need anything. You need a money, credit card. Go there, drive there, walk there, and buy it. For me, I'm trying to plan out my meals so that I don't have to go to McDonald's or whatever whenever I go do the thing that I do there once or twice a week, which is usually the reason why I go buy McDonald's, is because it's like I don't eat in the morning, then I just go eat the McDonald's one time, and when I get home, maybe if there's leftovers, I finish off the McDonald's. If not, usually it's not. I I eat me something when I get home. Saying so much there. There was something else too. Actually, yeah, I tried some. There's an Indian restaurant next to the place that I go. Whew, it's expensive for a I don't know, what do you call it, styrofoam of rice and some. Oh God, I can't. I ordered it. It's the green stuff that I like. You mix with the rice. It's really freaking good. I think it's spinach. It's the only spinach one I think there's. The only green one maybe. It was like 20 some odd dollars. I'm like, good lord, I can go to McDonald's 4 or 5 times for that amount. That's probably a lot healthier though, and tastes a lot better too. But still, I can't. I went there one time. I was like, I don't know if I can actually do that. I talked about some time ago about buying a whole bunch of Indian food to try out. But looking at the price now, they went up quite a lot, so I don't know if I can actually do that. Anyways, way off topic. So what are the 6 enemies of humans? Interestingly enough, was it? I don't quite remember. Talked about desires. Then was it delusion? No. Desires, greed, delusion, pride. I'm not sure it was. Lakshmi sounds like pride. I think just a continuation of pride. Jealousy, and again, I can't remember what that last one was. Analyze livings.
They're asking what's the difference between lobe and moh. Okay, lobe is this. You see, you become greedy. Haven't you noticed? You know, suppose I've got enough, but I say.
Well, yeah. Anyways, and the sixth one, somewhere in there. I don't want to drag this video out too long. I'm wondering where this entitlement is. Sorry, I guess I'm gonna drag it a little bit longer. Like, thing I'm noticing is entitlement. Where does that fit in? Pride, maybe? Because that is what I'm seeing quite a bit. Entitlement. They think they deserve something. Delusion. I think that. Greed, delusion. I mean, all of it's all there. It all fits under one of the categories, I'm sure. But right now, it's entitlement, power, corruption. Yeah. Anyways, that's my reaction to who are the 6 enemies of humans. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.